Hi, my name is Rhavin Haynes, and I am a senior at the University of Illinois in art education. So I've only attended U of I for the last 2 years, but I do think that the time I've spent here has given me the opportunity to understand the connection between teaching and art making. As for my art ed accomplishments and work that I've completed throughout the program, the first thing I got to do was work at Rhavin Elementary for an after-school program that happened Monday through Thursday for about 2.5 to 3 hours after school. During this opportunity, I co-taught with 4 other teachers for a 1st through 3rd grade class. We built our curriculum and lesson plans based on the idea of community. Our goal was to introduce students to community-based themes, places where you find community and people who can be included in your community. Over the 7 weeks working at Rhavin Elementary with my co-teachers, we developed a lot of different work and then let the students know that we were preparing for an exhibition. This was the first time I ever had the chance to work as a curator. I think my time at Rhavin Elementary really helped me understand how rewarding it is to have your students' work showcased. Seeing all the joy in the parents' faces and the students' faces when they were able to just talk about the different things that they learned, talk about the people that are in their community, even show these people what they made, really made it fulfilling. That helped ground me in understanding, okay, art education is not just something simple, it's not just teaching. This is 100% a part of my art practice. After that semester, for the spring semester, I had the chance to teach at Prairie View Ogden Elementary 1 day a week to a 1st grade class. This was my first opportunity teaching alone. So a lot of it was figuring out what big idea do I want to work with for the students, how can I make it relevant to them, and how do I make it accessible? What kind of language am I going to use? What kind of books should I include in their lessons? So I think this is a really good experience, me understanding how to include narratives into lessons. For my time there, I ended up choosing the big idea of narratives and storytelling. But as we went throughout the week, some students talked about performances, their goals. We talked about all the places you could find narratives. They're not just in books. They can be stories that are told to you from a parent. They can be found in songs. They can be found in movies. During my final day at Prairie View Ogden, we did a gallery walk. I took all of the pages from each student's book, I connected them. They had 5-page books and they had small sculptures that went along with the stories they were told in their book. During the gallery walk, students had the opportunity to tell their friends in the classroom what their story was about. What could you find in their story, some exciting things that happened to them. And then when we reflected on our process, even at 1st grade, some of the students were able to tell me that a lot of their favorite moments made them really happy, or they were scared. So you're able to see a lot of emotion were connected with narratives. My 3rd early fieldwork experience was at Centennial High School. At Centennial High School, we were working with a Drawing 1 class. So all of the students in the classroom were either new to drawing or new to traditional drawing skills. So we used this as an opportunity to do a still life. This wasn't just my own idea. I was working with 2 co-teachers in my cohort. The students were able to decide what items they wanted in their still life, think about the composition, create their own placement of items, and then working in tables, they drew it from different viewpoints. So for me, it was a really exciting experience for people to understand, okay, I have this new medium. I love to draw, but maybe I don't like that this doesn't last. Maybe I don't like the feeling of this, the texture, how messy it is. I think oftentimes in drawing classes, students are given pencils of different grades and different darknesses, but when you introduce a new type of drawing material, it really opens up like the different ways you can draw, the different things you can do. And then outside of my experience in the art education program and some of the accomplishments I've had with going through my early fieldwork, I also have a personal practice. Primarily, I work in drawing, painting, and print media. Typically, a lot of the work that I make is based on my experiences with my family, being very family-oriented, self-portraits, or just more figurative work. So I have had my work shown in 2 art shows. The first one was at the All-City Exhibition for incoming college students in Chicago, Illinois at the Leroy Neiman Center. This exhibition included seniors from all of the Chicago public schools who had submitted artwork. The work was chosen to be shown. It was based on the theme of community that year, community in color. It also gave me the chance to receive scholarship funding towards my first university that I attended. The second time my work was shown in an exhibition. It was a group exhibition at the Chicago Architecture Biennial. It was shown on the first floor of the Chicago Cultural Center. Currently, I'm finishing my placements at Chicago Public Schools for my student teaching. I recently passed my EdTPA to receive my licensure, which is based on my first placement, my first 8-week placement. During my first 8-week placement, I worked with pre-K through 8th grade, and I think that this is probably one of my biggest accomplishments in art education. It gave me the chance to teach 17 different classes a week, and some of those classes could be a pre-K class with no transition period, and the next 8th grade class coming in with no transition period, and then a 4th grade class coming in. While it was really stressful, it made me much more adaptable. I had a better understanding of classroom management, boundaries, expectations for artwork, and how to support diverse learners in art education. At the moment, I'm currently within the middle of my second placement, which was at a high school, and schools were closed for the COVID-19 pandemic. So for my future plans, I plan to continue building e-learning lesson plans for the students. Once I finish my time at U of I and I graduate, I plan to apply for a position with Chicago Public Schools. As I move forward with my career plans, I plan to teach for 4 years, eventually go get a master's degree in either educational policy or an MFA. Depending on which route it takes, I always still plan to come back to teaching as a practice.